Peace and love, guys. So this is a video of my job back home in Jamaica. I'm going to be talking about some experiences that I have, good and bad. And this is to raise awareness. This is not to downplay, again, because I'm not about that. I'm about making people aware and to educate people. So, yes, so I was a prison officer, correctional officer back home for over 20 years. So I joined when I was about, here, just go give it some figures now. Was about 20, 21, somewhere there. I wasn't this elated kind of correctional officer, because I'm going to talk about it in every kind of aspect. I might have different parts of it. If I post this and I see you guys are watching it, and I trust that Jamaican, I don't know why I have to come here and I beg. But that time when come, you see when you guys go want to hear me. Because I know you all Jamaicans, or you are, you all don't want to do anything to support anybody until you see a certain amount of people or certain people does it. Then that's the time you're going to jump on the bandwagon. I know that's not what I'm talking about, but we need to support things that affects us and that we knows about and that can help us. Two is not just the laughter. I know our culture is about laughter and mimicry and joke and fun and all of that. And everybody just want to laugh about things, which is okay. But there comes a time when you have to be serious, and talk about the things that affects, the mind and the body and the soul and the spirit, the emotional and mental aspect of life, and this is what I'm about. So back to the Jamaican being a correctional officer story. So yes, so I joined when I was, as you can see, when I was very young, but again, I wasn't really delighted about the job initially when I started doing it. I want a job, because going into prison job in Jamaica, as it was for me, then I was kind of scared because I hear about, how the system work inside, the men being, aggressive and being brutal and all of that. But I had to muster the courage. I remember I'm going to fast forward a little, guys, but they're going to be different parts. So I remember the first day when I left training school, and I was attached to one of those big ass prison. Nobody wants to go to the big prison like the general penitentiary or the district prison. So I was sent to the district prison, and I was like, oh, I hated that probably about 6 months that I was there, because I think it was, at that time for me, it was too hard. For me, I thought it was too hard, even though I learned a lot during that time, because I was timid. People couldn't tell that. People who were paying attention probably could tell, but people are always studying you. But I was timid. I'm just, talking and speaking my truth. So I was there until at the district prison, at this big ass prison, the central prison in Jamaica, working as a trainee. Well, I passed out. We didn't go back to training school for no, what you call it? How was it? I get mixed up. But anyway, let me continue about the story. Right. So I was talking about spending 6 months at that central prison, which I was really having a hard deal. I had a hard time. I had a hard 6 months because I was scared. I worried every night when I go to my bed. I couldn't hardly sleep because I was scared. During that time, they were thinking about hanging, and during that time when those things are in the air, those persons who are contemplating, who they have in mind, they are boisterous and pure madness. The energy is double time dark during that time because people are furious. Kind of people, all kind of people saying all kind of things. Anyway, so it was kind of scary during that time. So that was the time when I entered the system, and I happened to got transferred 6 months after to a farm prison, Tamarind Farm at the time, and I went there. It wasn't like the bigger prison because you have less inmates there to deal with, and then the inmates that are at that institution is a little more behaved, if you will. They are what do you call it now? They are supervised, and I can't find the terms, but for you guys who know what I'm talking about, can back me up. I need to rock with this story. Right. Yeah, for those prisoners who are well behaved, they are, transferred there, or if they have sometimes less time or different kind of conditions, can cause them to be there. So that's where I was transferred to. So Tamarind Farm was where I did most of my time. I think I spent most of my time at Tamarind Farm. My junior years was at Tamarind Farm until because I was promoted. I think I got all my promotion. I got all my promotion at Tamarind Farm. Yes, I got all my promotion at Tamarind Farm. So I was promoted to a staff officer there. So you can tell that I spent most of my time there, but I was, so I'm gonna kind of try to fast forward, guys, because I want to bring some little context so you can get where I'm going with this story. So transferred to Tamarind Farm, being promoted. I was you can tell the kind of officer I was by, I was timid, follow the line, the conversation, timid, and then I transferred in this different environment with less mental problems or behavioral situations. And not only that, I was a store clerk for most of the time there. So I know people going to say, okay, because you work at the store, you don't have to deal with prisoner, hands-on, but I still have to deal with prisoner. Because most of the time, not most of the time, but a lot of times, the post where I covered are for 3 personnel, and most of the times I'm the only officer. I'm the only officer there. So, it's a position that was for sometimes the job that I do. Sometimes I'll do like the senior position job, and I was a regular officer. So they see the kind of consistency and work ethics that I displayed, and so the superintendent too, I think at the time, I don't remember his name, but I remember Mr. Sams came along, and I want to talk about Mr. Sams too in this. So during that time, I was promoted about, I think, 6 years after. Yeah, 6 years into being an officer, and that was a big thing, because there were when I was promoted, there were some officers, a lot of officers below me who were cringed and mad at me, at the system, how they are questioning outcomes, and they're not looking at the work that I'm doing, because I'm young and I come in and I have all of this light shining from them time there. Yes, I want to squeeze that in. I am this kind of light bearer from that time. Anyway, so promoted during that time, and I'm this officer that are dependable, and you can always count on me. So the superintendents that are coming there from time to time, because they change superintendent very, very regular. But so at the time we have Miss June Jarrett, I think. Miss Jarrett. But there was this other person there before, I think. But let me talk about this because I remember vividly about her. She knew the kind of work that I put in, and she would reward me, would allow me to get the kind of respect from the superintendents that would come there from time to time. And you will see why I'm saying this, because I can remember most of the superintendents that would came from transfer from other prisons there, and they would come because I'm the storekeeper, right? Remember, and the store is a very important part of the prison because the prisoners have to eat, and I am in charge of the food and clothing and cleaning agents, all those kind of things, hardware and all those kind of things. So the commissioner, which was Miss Jarrett at the time, would ensure, she paid me, because I'm putting it in perspective right now, she would pay me with allowing those superintendents to know that Seymour is important at this position where he's placed. So she reinforced the fact that I'm important, even though it was bigger than her, because I can tell now that what she was doing is bigger than her, but she couldn't stop it. She could just endorse it, So even though the superintendents that come there from time to time, they wouldn't favor me. When they come there just and they see me as, because I'm this little, because I'm never big, I'm this little guy, unassuming. So they would, at first glance, or for the first few months or so, they would kind of cold shoulder me. When they don't see me, they would want to put other people over there at this position, senior persons over me, because remember, my officer now, I'm a normal officer now, not promoted yet. Even though I was promoted 6 years after, but I'm backtracking now, because I have a lot to say about this story. Right? So they would put the superintendents that came there and don't really get to know me. Before the commissioner would talk to them, they would show disgust. And I would feel some kind of way. I would probably sometimes scared of them, because I would have to report to the superintendent. Me and the superintendent, we have to have this kind of relationship, because the food at the prisoners, mainstream, fuel, right? I have everything. I deal with the gas, everything. So the superintendent have to talk to me. So when they realize now that they can't do but deal with me, plus the commissioner is on their tail, because they probably go complain on how they should have other people there, and I'm not doing a good job, because even though I'm doing a good job, because I tell you, I spend most of my time at Tarman Farm, and most of my years is working at the store. If I wasn't a good officer or a person doing that kind of job, I wouldn't be there. Right? But these superintendents who came from other places, prisons, who came there and don't know the story or the history of me working there, at the first glance, they would just give me that bad energy and show themselves. And I remember some of them vividly. And they would just show me that up until some long time into co-workership or having to deal with them. They would just remain in that same vibration with me. Just hate me. Even though I have to deal with them in a superintendent, because I can remember, because I'm going to talk about Mr. Sands. But I'm also touching the negative vibrations that I get from some of the superintendents that were working. Because I want this video to go viral, just for the sake of awareness. Because I'm not, throwing out darkness and not all, I'm just shedding light. Right. So just like I'm talking about the good part, I'm talking about the bad part and the not so good part. Right. So some of those superintendents, when they saw me, they didn't see me fitting the script of being the store clerk. They have their agenda. They have their, because everybody have their favorite people who they want to work where, so they can get what they want. Because at the store, no, remember, I'm in charge of the store. They can't come and even the superintendent sometimes after, because then I'm not the kind of guy who they're going to just come say, okay, Mr. Blackwood, or whatever they want to call me, my first name or last name. I'm putting my business out there because I don't care at this point. Send me a pack of crackers or some milk powder or whatever. They know they can just say it. Sometimes they, I'm saying all of this. Yes. They can just say, send me some milk powder. What they will do sometimes, they'll send the inmate, write a note and say, this is for the inmate. But they want it for themselves because they don't want one pack of milk powder, and they want quarter dozen or 6. Anyway, I'm talking about it because I had to be the one to balance that ledger when it come up short. Anyway, so back to the, okay, so I want to talk about now. So that enough of those negative superintendents that I had to deal with. So I'm going to talk about this positive superintendent that I had this opportunity to live, to really work with. I'm excited, you can tell. So this gentleman, or gentle soul, was Mr. Sams. I know a lot of people have different things to say about him. Like they have things to say about me, other people too. People and themselves, but they're not about themselves. Anyway, so this superintendent was just gentle soul, because I can remember. Because he might not have done nothing major personally for me, but I see where he have impacted a lot of lives, men and women, boy and girl, everywhere. There's nobody yet, no officer could truly say Mr. Sams have affected them adversely. Knowingly. He's not that kind of person. He's this kind of person who looks out for everybody. And he doesn't, harbor grudge, and he doesn't sit up and, and play with the foolishness. He's going to tell you. He's going to call you. Because I remember now I'm the storekeeper, so he's going to say, Seymour, but you shouldn't do this. So I see him as this person who was a real one. And if he sees the work that you are doing, he's going to want for you to be compensated, and he's one of the kind of superintendent again who will look out for the officers, the young officers. I can remember during that time, he's the one who ensured that officers were compensated for the job and the knowledge that they input into the service, and I can really, really, really vouch, even though he's deceased right now, but I don't know people, if anybody had talked about him. Mr. Sams is a really gentle soul, and I want for this video again for Jamaican prison officers to listen to this and to interact with me, man. We can talk about prison too, it doesn't have to be the bad things. We can talk about the good things and talk about how we can get it better. Right. So Mr. Sams, yes, I can remember some things that man really do, and I'm like, oh shit, this man here. I remember because I used to love to go to like funeral and sort of support, people who have these kind of needs, and he would love, he would go to the funeral because he's a superintendent. Like when co-worker died, our family member, he would ask, people who want to go. And so because I don't work on the weekends, and funerals would normally be like on Saturday and Sunday, so he would say, see where you're coming. Yes, and I would love to go. I would love, go with them, and I would have a good time. And he's a kind person, kind-hearted. Because them tell them, I have no money, because I just have my little young family, and I have to spend a little money. Because we ain't getting all of that money, but the superintendent ensure that we are fed. That superintendent is the superintendent that ensure that you are fed, and tell them I eat pork. That man loves some pork, even though he wasn't taking care of himself in terms of the kind of food. No, I can say that because he had this stomach issue, I can tell. He didn't talk about it with me, but I can tell now looking back that because he has a huge extended stomach, and because he eat a lot of meat and stuff, and he would drink a lot too. But that doesn't take away the kindness and the kind of person that he had been. So I'm really, really, really want to highlight that he was a true soul. And I want to do another part for this. We're talking about my time spent in prison. All right? Peace and love. Thanks for listening. Let me know if you want to hear part 2. I'm going to post this on YouTube. Thank you.